found the Laid Off Lads podcast, where three average guys from Central Florida discuss anything but average topics and have all the time to do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast, episode number 6. I just want to remind everybody out there that's watching a little bit who won the Super Bowl, if you're paying attention. A nice little team in this same state of Florida that is over on the West Coast, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do you like my mask, guys?
Slow clap is what I would do. I'm not even going to give you that.
I'll take a slow golf clap.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's my victory lap. But please make sure if you're out there, you're still wearing masks, you're still social distancing, although we have vaccines and numbers are seemingly slowly going down. We are doing this via Skype for that reason, so I don't actually have to wear this thing the entire time. But please make sure if you're going out, you're wearing a mask, you're being safe, you're social distancing, and you're doing everything that you can to help get us seemingly back to normal. There we are. How you gents doing?
Doing well. Yeah, great. Hot
Boys
today.
It's warm today.
I'm not a big weather talker. I hate weather talk, but this was a great winter. In terms of 40s and 50s, it was one of the cooler winters I recall. And then it went from 40s to 50s, nice, great winterish weather for us, to hot as balls 80s. No transition. It's like somebody flipped a switch. It sucks. I'm looking at the 5-day forecast. I'm like 80s, 88 next week.
But then the next day it'll go 50s.
Now we're done with the 50s.
Well, I don't mind it. I mean, I am a Florida boy, and I love the heat. So if I can get like 80, 90 all year long, I'm happier than a pig in shit. But I know that's not what most people like. But one thing, I don't mind it being cold. I can handle the cold. I don't like the cold, but I can deal with it. But one thing I don't like is it going back and forth, as you're saying, of one day it's this, next day it's this. Because that's how everybody's like allergies and everybody gets, sick because the weather changes so much and it's so rapid that your body doesn't even have time to adjust to a climate change or a humidity change or anything along those lines.
Yeah, I don't belong in this state. I don't belong here. My sister was texting me this morning saying it's snowing up there in Philly. She's like, yeah, it keeps snowing every single day. I'm like, damn it. I miss snow. I'm not built for this place. I hate it.
Do you guys know that I've never seen snow?
No way.
Well, we'll actually get to this in a topic. I've seen snow, but from afar. I have not played in it. I have not held it. I have not thrown it. I have not skied in it. I have not done a snow angel, a snowman, any of that shit. I have no, I haven't.
I can't see you skiing. I can't see you on anything with.
No. Like I'd be on one of those like ridiculousness type shows where it would be this gigantic man on a skis or like a snowboard going right into a tree and knocking myself out.
Bambi on the ice.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I can actually rollerblade quite well, but I've never actually ice skated.
I miss rollerblading. I used to rollerblade all the time, played roller hockey, but there's this weird stigma now. If I were to go rollerblading down my street or see somebody rollerblading down my street, I'd be like, look at that guy. I want to so bad, but it just looks too weird these days.
Like, why is that the case?
I don't know. I always feel like I would have to have a hockey stick in my hand.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Interpret that as you will, but I can't do it.
It is odd. I still have mine. They're just sitting in a bag in the garage, but still do. Well, welcome everybody. We have on the line with us Mr. Christopher Boyce and Mr. Phil Ngari, and we are the Laid Off Lads. And this is episode 6, as I was saying, and we usually do about 2 segments on this Here or There pod. First being up is the classifieds. And for this week's classifieds, it's interesting because while combing the classifieds, and Boyce, this is going to be a surprise to you, but Phil and I actually are employed again.
No.
Yes, we are.
We are actually employed
Oh.
again.
Together.
God.
Together.
That's
It
sweet.
is actually we are employed with what we are drinking right now. Big
hey.
Storm Brewing.
That was a tough.
Congratulations. Are you his boss, Ferris? Please tell me you are.
I believe I am again.
Yes.
We won't
Good.
we
Well,
won't
it
go
should be.
into positions quite yet because we're still trying to figure that out. Long story short, I'm sure Phil and Boyce, you guys are in the same. We've applied to so many different things that were more along the lines of Boyce is like, no, the hell
Don't
no.
apply to a single job.
I mean, I've been applying to things that are comparable to what I did in the parks with similar salary and job description and duties and all of that, and have not really heard a lick back. I mean, whether it's because everybody's applying right now, I'm not qualified, I'm overqualified, I don't know. But as we talked about on a few pods, I am very much into craft beer in the industry, and it's one of like a hobby of mine. And I was applying for jobs on LinkedIn and actual company sites and so on and so forth. But one day I was scrolling through Instagram and followed Big Storm Brewing. They are based out of the Clearwater, Tampa Bay area, and they were hiring, but hiring for not positions down in Clearwater or Odessa or Cape Coral where they have their tap rooms, but applying for a new brewery that they're actually opening up here in Orlando that's attached to the Amway. And not really sure what I could do there because I don't really have an immense amount of experience in that side of the world in terms of the food and bev type world. But from the hospitality and guest service side of things, that's the industry that we all were in for the past number of years.
Not to mention knowledge of the product intimately.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cilantro. And so I just sent off a resume to the email that they asked to, and to my surprise, got a call. And last week we actually filled out some paperwork, and I forwarded it off to Phil just kind of because kind of like what we also talked about on the last pod. You all, with the severance, you got to start planning stuff. At some point, you have to just get something to kind of slow the ship of spending severance and spending your funds. So it may not be the next career path. It may not be the next, job, but that is comparable to what you were doing. But yeah, applied for it. And about a few weeks later, Phil sent me a text and is like, hey, I got a call from that guy too. And I'm going down to fill out stuff as well. So
Congratulations, boys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And that ends the pod as we are no longer laid off lads. So we're going to turn it off right here. No,
See ya.
And then there was one.
No. We are still going to continue to do this. It's not necessarily. It was never. And you guys, please chime in as well. This was never a. We'll only do this until we have jobs, and then the hell with this. It was always a commonality of being laid off and realizing that we're semi funny gents that can kind of converse and talk about a wide array of things and like to make people laugh and enjoy life. So that's kind of the ultimate goal for this. And
This, in a sense, is just office talk. Stuff that when we were at our former employer, we would just sit in the office and talk shit. We would just shoot the shit all day. I loved it. Anytime you guys would come in my office, just there goes an hour.
Yeah, not quite the conventional water cooler talk, but absolutely.
Yeah.
And Boyce, you're kind of employed. This is self-employed. That's not technically.
Yeah, I'm making no effort. Our former employer gave us all access to I don't know, what do you call it? Not a placement company, but a company that helps you with your resume and helps you with different resources to find your next job. And they reached out to me a bunch.
Afterlife.
Correct. So they reached out to me a bunch and said, hey, we're here. You've got X amount of months of this service. So I said, hey, can I delay the service a bit and push it back? And they said, yeah. And then they come back after that period of time. Hey, we're here. If you need us, your service is going to start now. I said, hey, can I push that back? And I did it about 3 times. So they said, all right, this is the last of your window. So the poor woman kept emailing me and leaving me voice messages. I never returned her calls. And she said, well, we tried reaching out to you about a dozen times, Mr. Boyce. So we're going to close your account now. And I'm okay with that because clearly I had no desire to move forward because what I'm doing right now is my next step.
That's good, man.
Well, I was going to take a very cynical thought on that, but you got axed by the company you were with for that many years, and now you've been axed by the placement company after.
That was my own doing, though. I ignored them. I pushed it off as long as I could until I realized that, you know what, I'm doing what I want to be doing moving forward, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm not doing any more resumes.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not applying for any more jobs. What I'm doing now is working. So
That's awesome.
hopefully it will. If it doesn't, I'll be reaching out to you guys.
Yeah, right. Not today. It's not working.
No.
I'm a brewmaster. Did I tell you I'm a brewmaster?
Who are you? I'll be darned. You can send your resume to Michael.Ferris. No. No, that's awesome, man. And we wish you the best of luck and just everything that we've seen in text and what we've been sharing with each other. You're off to a good start of being self-employed and doing all that. So
Thanks, man.
keep that up, man.
It's a dream.
But if not, just grow that beard a couple more inches and you can come join us.
Yeah, just say I've brewed before, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're getting like acid water from Boyce as he brews up something that he has no clue what the hell he's doing.
I actually have a kit I need to put together in my garage. I got it for Christmas. I haven't touched it.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a little microbrewery kit.
You're just going to put rubbing alcohol into a glass and
Yeah.
you're like, here you
I'll
go.
make moonshine in the backyard.
Yep.
It's 400 proof. It'll make you blind, but damn, it's good.
Certain shine's good, man. Won't turn that down.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of shine being made in the great state of Florida.
You could call it sunshine, though.
You could call it sunshine. It's
Hey.
very true.
Hey.
Wow.
All right,
Hey.
our next venture. Here we go, guys.
Dad jokes.
Yep.
But I mean, like you're doing that self-employed. I kind of wanted to get into the brewing type industry, and while I'm not a brewer or anything, and the job description that I'll be doing is still in the works. It's going to be a fun time and kind of definitely different what I know and have been doing. It's going to be a steep learning curve, but I'm super excited. And Big Storm for me is a brewery that was started after I left Clearwater, but is one of the biggest in the state now. And this will be their 4th tap room, and a brewery that I've always enjoyed and have made it a point to when I'm back home to try and stop by. So I'm incredibly excited to help bring that to the Orlando area. So can't
That's
wait.
awesome. Do they sell it locally?
Yeah, you can get it at
Republics.
Total Wine and Publix and stuff. So yeah.
All right.
I'm having this one for the first time. It's their Gulf Coast India Pale Ale. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very good. Called Palm Benda. This is one of their core beers and one of their originals. And when the tap room opens, if you stop by, I'll tell you even more about it.
Nice.
Which thank you, Glenn, for stopping by and dropping these off. I appreciate it.
I went home to see old Ma Dukes a little
What's
bit
with the Ma
yesterday.
Dukes? What's the Dukes? What's the Dukes about?
The Dukeses? The Dukeses was a term that, like, my history is not probably what it should be, and I'm probably going to butcher the hell out of this, so please forgive me. But the Dukeses were a term like royalty or hierarchy, like king, queen, and
Right.
duchess, and all of that. So I don't remember where I heard it from, but years and years ago, while I was in high school or middle school, I just heard somebody referred to their parents as that, and I kind of asked the same thing, and they really couldn't. They kind of said that, and it was just kind of more of a funny way of calling, instead of calling them mom or mommy, just to say Ma Dukes, Pa Dukes, Sister Dukes. So they're all on my phone as that. They're not in there as mom, dad, or whatnot. So. My parents know that I call them that. My sister knows that I call them that. It's all fine. She refers to herself as that sometimes. So
Hey, as long as she responds to it, that's all that matters.
absolutely.
That's why I yell "ma." My mom comes.
You know what I call
Not
my dad?
Oh, here we
Uh-oh.
go.
There you go.
Dead.
God, boys.
Dead Pat's what we call him at my house. Anyway,
You're a morbid piece.
Dude, probably more appropriate, but Dead Pat
Dude.
goes a long way.
Yeah, well. Good Lord. Well, that was our classifieds section, which we really didn't cover any classifieds. We'll still continue to have that segment, though, as it's kind of all the jobs out there and random things that can go around finding jobs, and classifieds in general is a broad topic that will entice some quite comedic type responses and questions and wonder whys, and who knows, maybe even find Fellerai or Boyce if things don't go well into our next career
Dare
path.
you?
Moving on. What's the topic? And we're going to cover two again. And Boyce, do you want to actually tell us what the first topic is and who it was sent in by?
First topic is Mars. Who did send in that topic?
No.
No. Oh boy, I got it all backwards.
You didn't do your homework.
We did a lot of shuffling. We did a lot of subjects shuffling before this.
Yes, we did.
A reoccurring theme that we mentioned in every one of these pods.
Well, you're almost to the age of shuffleboard, so you should be prepared.
Oh, damn. Gen X, bitches. Gen X.
Even for me. Damn it. I'm sorry.
That was roll right
That was
now.
on fire today.
Yeah,
I'm tired and I'm drinking, man. I'm firing on all cylinders right now.
Typically the cranky one, but man, he's on his game today.
You can't fire me anymore. I can say what I want.
Oh, what was it? Something about a trip. I gotta pull
hold on. Let's. This clearly shows you that this podcast is not very well planned out in advance. We kind of turn on the mic and just start to spew. We have general outline topics and various notes that were actually sent to Christopher Boyce. But if you want, I'll say the first topic was sent into us by a pod contributor, a funny human being, and what is absolutely a saint of a woman, especially after this little sequence. Mary Boyce, Chris Boyce's wife, sent us in the first topic. And the exact words of it were, "What was the best trip you've ever taken and why?"
Okay. That was it.
You following up there?
Yeah. We got a rapid fire series of questions when we were looking for them before this pod, and she sent about 50 of them. So we're loaded with topics. So the best trip I've ever taken in terms of memories and and man was to Haiti. It was, I want to say maybe 2010, 2011. Went to Haiti with a group of medical doctors. It was like a medical mission trip. So a bunch of these doctors going to Haiti, and it was right after the earthquake. And we would go from city to city, town to town, I should say, village to village. And these doctors would sort of set up camp. We go to these little like beat up huts and churches that were just made of like barely bricks and sticks and twigs as roofs. And all these people would be in their finest clothes, just sitting there quietly, patiently waiting. You get there about 6 a.m. You'd have 100 people there, and the doctors would start to see them one by one. They'd go through their ailments. They'd write down what their issue was, and I was essentially the pharmacist. So they would send them over to me.
That's a
that's all the medicine.
Hold on. Wait.
Yes, thank you. Time out there.
Yeah, hold on. You can't just casually skim over that. You being the pharmacist.
Yeah, I was the pharmacist for this trip.
You do know what like a pharmacist does, right?
Yeah, and that's what I did for the couple weeks we were there.
So four pills for you, one for me. 4 for you, 1 for me.
It may have happened.
Take that shot of Jameson, 1 for you, 3 for me. Like what?
Well, yeah, they said
that
because I wasn't a qualified doctor. So
they give you the drugs and say pass out the drugs.
They give me a prescription and they say here's what this guy needs, and I put it together into a bag and give them their prescriptions. I mean, it's really not hard when you've got a bunch of pills and a bunch of what's that?
How did you get that though? Like, how did you?
It was a former friend way back in the day. She was a Bucks cheerleader actually for a while and became a lawyer, and she's very into a lot of causes and a lot of
that's awesome.
A lot of goodwill. So she had some friends who were doctors, and yearly and sometimes maybe over 6 to 9 months, they take a trip to Haiti, we stayed at an orphanage, and there's an American couple who runs the orphanage. So we got to stay there with a bunch of orphans in this orphanage. And that was sort of the routine. They would go there every 6 to 9 months and go to different villages and offer their services, free medical assistance for everybody. And
That's
I would
awesome.
fill the prescriptions. So one day I get this prescription and it'll typically tell you what the ailment is, saying, this guy can't sleep, or this guy's got muscle aches and this and this and this. And so this guy hands me this prescription and I read it, and it says swollen testicles since 1984.
Wait, what year was this?
1984. Swollen testicles. That's all it says. So I'm like, shit.
Yeah, but
Here,
what year did you
take all the
go?
meds.
That
it
is
was like
36
2010,
years
2011.
ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He had them forever.
37, depending on, yeah. Holy mackerel.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the table full of meds, and they told me I should give him the what do you call them? The amoxicillin type stuff. What the heck's it called? I'm drawing a blank here.
Ibuprofen? Just anti-inflammatories?
No, they're
Morphine? I mean, if I had enlarged testicles,
No,
just,
we had nothing
shoot
like
me
that.
up and just knock me out for a bit.
Yeah, you can't bring any like class 3 drugs into the country. It was
okay.
nuts. Like we had to actually we distracted customs when we went in. We had like these almost like hockey bags, like giant duffel bags filled with medical equipment and pills. And because some of these pills were like muscle relaxers, they weren't narcotics. We couldn't bring narcotics in. So they were on like this verge of what you can and cannot bring in. So some of the pills we had were not legal to bring into the country. So these guys had this process down. I don't know.
Why would you not be able to bring in like medical supplies that would help, especially if their doctor's coming?
No clue. But
I'm sure it has to do with like federal Haiti regulations. Like there has to be all sorts of.
It's
like,
chaos.
You can't move drugs across borders without some sort of.
Yeah, there's barely laws. That's all run by.
Exactly.
It's nuts, man. It's absolutely insane. You land in this airport and it's all cracked and crumbling from the earthquake. So we get into the airport and the doctor turns to me. We're holding these, like I said, hockey bags, like the giant duffel bags.
Mm-hmm.
We're all holding like 2 of these. And one of the doctors, right as we get to the entrance, says, all right, listen, I'm going to talk to these guys at customs. We're all going to sort of gather around them. As soon as they do, you take this bag and this bag, and then you just head out the door. I'm like, I'm sorry, what the am I supposed to do here?
Whoa.
So he just said there's cops everywhere. They're like, they'll arrest us if they see us with this stuff. So we're going to distract them. I'm like, oh my God.
And
So
you're in a third world.
yeah,
Dude, if you go to Haiti jail,
country, dude.
That's not a normal.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
worse than normal jail.
I'm terrified.
Holy
I'm terrified.
mackerel.
It took so much to get me to take this trip because in my brain going into this trip, I'm like, man, Haiti is it's cursed. It has had no luck. It's just been a shithole for centuries. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the case.
I mean,
So
at least it didn't ask you to lube up the pill bottles.
That's true. That would have been that bag was big. I would have taken so
Carry
much
that
lube.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Here's some KY. Take that bag to the bathroom. We'll see you in a half hour.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So I'm sneaking these drugs into a third world country, which I successfully did. Then you fast forward to this village and the guy with the swollen testicles, and there was no amount of drugs on the table that I had that could have fixed this. So in certain situations that required like the next step of care, they would schedule appointments saying, okay, a guy with the swollen testicles,
Don't
we're
do
going
it.
to come back here on Saturday to the orphanage and we're going to help you out. There was a little girl. She was about 7 or 8 years old.
You had to wait
She
until
came-
Saturday?
I don't know. It was a Thursday or Friday, so it was only.
Dude, he waited like 20 years. Like,
Yeah, he
what's
waited
the
like-
other
Yeah, that's
days?
true. That's true.
You made him wait till Saturday? You gave him a few days? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Keep your swollen testicles for another 5 days. Yeah,
So
whatever.
he shows up to the orphanage along with some other people who needed extensive work. And we go to the basement of this orphanage. It's hot as hell. There's no AC. There's no running water. You got like a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. And this guy's on like a fold out table. So I'm sitting here with these doctors. They have their own lights they got to bring, battery powered. Like, here, hold this light over this guy while we perform this surgery. So I'm sitting here
My God.
over a guy, this old Haitian dude. He was in his like 70s, mid 70s, and he's got his 2 balls right. They're in front of me. They're
Compare
the
them to fruit
size
size.
grapefruits,
There.
without a doubt. I've thought about it. It doesn't leave your head. these things were the size of grapefruits.
Like ruby red type.
No, they were brown.
Well,
And y'all are
like
getting real
that size,
descriptive.
which are a nice, good size grapefruit.
Yeah, they were large. I'm sitting here going, this is crazy. So they're like, all right, you need to hold the light over this and hold it steady while we do this because there's no other light. And it's sweltering. And so they do the surgery and they cut into these things and stuff happens. I'm not going to get graphic about it, but
No,
I assisted in several surgeries with people who had things that should not have been on them, things that were enlarged. This poor little girl who was like 8 years old had a finger that got halfway cut off by something. And she came to the doctor by herself with no parents and just said, here, take a look at this. And they said, we got to cut your finger off. She freaks out. She runs away. She comes back like 4 hours later and just has her head down. And she's like, okay, let's do it. Like she had to muster the courage at her age with no parents to say, I've got to have my finger cut off. And she came back and said, all right, we're going to do it. And they did it. And so I sat in on a lot of those surgeries and held the light over for them and played pharmacist during the day. It was crazy. Haiti is an amazing country. I mean, it's so impoverished and it's so decimated and devastated by hundreds and hundreds of years of just horrible government and rule by other countries. And that earthquake just destroyed the place. But the people are just so sort of like have this almost like that Jamaican vibe, like everything's going to be cool. They wake up like at the crack of dawn. Everybody's just like out in the street doing the thing, selling their fruit. It was one of the most terrifying trips, but one of the most rewarding because the people there were they were awesome. I think it's a misunderstood country and a misunderstood culture. But they just have not had any luck.
Yeah,
But,
man.
yeah, my trip to Haiti, man.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be first to say I don't have any story that tops that.
No, I do not either. But I do want
Nope.
to ask, boys, was that a couple podcasts ago? You're talking about I don't even know which one it was now, but the dream job of being a seismologist with earthquakes.
Yeah.
Was that when you first had, because of that? And
No, that
going
predates all that
down there,
stuff.
that
Those
predates it.
earthquakes are rare in that part of the world. Yeah, when they happen big, but that's not, I think the most significant earthquake to happen in that part of the world was the Haitian earthquake way back then.
It's crazy. I actually remember that one. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it
me
was
too.
monstrous. But
That's
yeah.
crazy. Well, have you had any fun trips since then? Like any enjoyable, relaxing trips?
I went to Italy once with I
Okay,
knew I landed in Venice and had to be at the bottom of the country in Rome in 2 weeks. No plan, no, hey, we're staying in this hotel, hey, we're doing this. It's just
No
start
meatball
here.
size testicles?
You don't
No
need to there,
testicles.
man.
No. You start at the top of the country, you figure out your way to the bottom of the country, learning the
awesome.
language. And we stayed with a couple old people who we met somewhere and they're like, oh, you need a place to stay? Stay with us. Stayed in a hostel for 2 days. And right before we left, the last day that we left, the entire country's transportation section went on strike. So we got to the airport 2 hours early for our flight out to Rome. They said, hey, we're going on strike. Everybody who's here on the plane. If you're not on the plane, we're out. And that country went on strike for about 2 weeks. So had we not gotten to the airport 2 hours early, we would have been trapped in Italy for another 2 weeks.
Now,
It's
time
not
out.
the
You
worst
say
places.
trapped.
Yeah, I know.
Trapped in Italy for 2
Well,
weeks. My God, go down the street,
It was
get some gelato, and shut the
Literally backpacking. There's no luggage. There's literally a backpack on your back with everything you need. And you're basically just figuring out how to go from north to south. And that's it. There was no hotel
Being trapped
stays.
in Haiti,
So-
I mean,
Yeah, that's true. You're not really trapped.
it's it's not.
Yeah. But after 2 weeks
Italy.
of traversing a country with nothing but a backpack, you're at the
You wanna go.
point where we're like, yeah, you're just like, we're ready to go home. Let's do this.
I think I could do that for like a year.
Yeah, if you plan on
been
it,
to
you
Italy.
prepare
Yeah.
for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Italy's phenomenal. That's one of the most beautiful countries ever. Florence is like my all-time favorite city there.
Florence is
The
beautiful.
architecture, just the colors, everything there is just amazing.
Yeah.
I would go back there in a heartbeat. So maybe we'll make that a pit stop when we make our trip there, Ferris, finally
Finally
to
over there.
England. Boys, you want to go to England?
Yeah, man, that's on my
I actually
bucket.
wouldn't
Well,
mind that,
Mary and I
boys.
have to go to Ireland first. We have to go to Ireland first. We were supposed to do that last year. Planned
Well,
a trip to Ireland, and just like your trip, screwed.
Well, we were supposed to go to Ireland last year.
Well, fly into England and then take
Take the
something
channel.
to Ireland. Yeah, however we're supposed to do it.
No, actually, we had flights planned.
We did have flights planned.
We had
Yeah.
a flight to Ireland. Damn it.
So is
Sorry,
it?
no.
Italy for you the best trip you ever been on, or what?
Oh yeah, hands down. Italy, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I had to go with my school. Like I went with my class. I was a freshman, I think, in high school. But still got to see so much cool stuff. Just a tour throughout Italy and just the architecture, the sculptures, the art. I take appreciation in all of that, and it was simply amazing. The food there was just unbelievable. I would go back there in a heartbeat. And it's exactly what everyone says. Like I remember one night, what happened? There was I can't, just some religious, not a ceremony, but some type of holiday. And you would have like all the Catholics walk the street and they were blessing the streets there. I got to go to the Vatican.
That's awesome.
And saw, is it Pope John?
Pope,
maybe
John Paul?
No, he
the
died
one
before
that passed away recently.
No, when he was in, wasn't he?
Was he?
I can't remember which pope it was, but I was there when he
think
gave his
so.
last blessing before he passed away.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was about to
Vatican.
say that would have been at
Maybe
the
it was
tail
Pope
end.
John
of
Paul
that.
II?
I think so.
Yeah. And I actually went to that museum, and it's really weird to see because they have.
Yeah, he would have
Like their
died.
bodies.
He died in April 2005. So yeah, I believe he was
Oh,
still
wow.
And yeah, I went there in
head there at that time. Yeah, yeah.
2004. I was there, or maybe it was 2005. I can't really remember, but
His papacy ended April 2nd, 2005. So yeah, that would have been
and
him.
it must have been 2005.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really weird to go to kind of their museum, and they have like all the old popes, but
Yeah.
they have like their bodies like
Oh,
Yeah.
there.
I was not expecting
You're
you
just
to say
walking
that.
through there, and you're like, oh, that's really cool, and it's kind of gross, but really just again another culture that just kind of opens your eyes and be like, wow, like this is how it is in this country, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But the food is what stuck out to me. Love the food. I'm a pizza junkie. I just love the food. Gelato, loved it. Loved it.
I ate at McDonald's like about a week and a half in. I'm like, I need some real like American food.
You
There
were
was
saying
a
real
McDonald's
American
at the,
food. I want to slap you again. Damn it.
Parthenon or the
McDonald's?
Pantheon or the whatever the hell that is. There was McDonald's right there in the middle of it. Like all this old school, like ancient ruins, and there's
The
a
golden
McDonald's.
arches.
It was crazy. And we ate.
At least it was an arch, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It fits into the Italian architecture.
They were Roman arches.
Good lord.
Well done, Ray Crocker.
You guys have been to
Croc, right?
Who?
Have
Croc
you
was the
seen that?
guy.
He's
Croc.
a piece of shit.
He
There's a
really is.
documentary called The Founder,
hold
I
on.
believe it's called.
Oh, the founder of McDonald's.
Of McDonald's.
Yeah.
His name was
I haven't seen that yet, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Roy
What's
Kroc.
his first name? Roy Croc.
Roy.
Yes. Okay.
Or Ray.
I said Ray Croc. Roy.
It might be Roy.
It's one of them.
He's a
but
piece
yeah,
of shit regardless.
You need to
Why?
watch that one.
Okay, as like
Yeah,
ooh,
watch
He
that.
basically
It's on-
stole like a mom and pop idea of fast food, and like took off with it and like on everyone else to make sure that he made it big.
Yeah, this little like I said, little mom and pop hamburger shop. They hired him to sort of help out, maybe branch some things out because he had some ideas, and he just took it over from them, and he them hard. I mean,
Yep.
he's a piece of shit. I can't believe that as long as that movie's been out and is highly rated as it is, enough people have seen it to say, hey, McDonald's, but nobody has.
I
I've
have
never
not seen it. Was that the one that Michael Keaton was in, or he played?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plays Ray
Yes.
Kroc.
Watch it.
Okay.
It will open your
So
eyes.
it's a movie, but it's based on a real
Correct.
story.
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
But damn it, now I want some hash browns.
Yeah, their fries are too good I don't care.
Their fries, their hash browns. I try to go there for my birthday. All I was craving on my damn birthday, my 31st birthday sucked ass.
Oh my god.
But I tried going there on my 31st birthday to
the
get some
place that's
damn hash
closed,
browns.
it's COVID.
McDonald's was not closed. What are you
The
talking about?
place that is closed at McDonald's. It's COVID. It's not sanitary. You can't play in their play sets, Phil. You're past that age.
What you talking about? I just wanted a hash brown. Oh, you
And
you
slide
never
down the slide.
you have never woke up and just craved a
No.
a hash brown from McDonald's.
No.
Boyce, are you normal?
No, I'm not a hash brown guy at all. No. Egg McMuffin, yes. Sausage McMuffin, yes. Hash browns, not
Okay,
to do with
the
that.
hash browns. Sometimes I just crave that grease. That I could eat 5 of them right now. Now I'm craving one.
Burger
so
King
I-
or sandwich. Have you ever the sandwich? I could eat 12 of those. I would die,
Sandwich.
but they're amazing.
It's croissant sandwich.
For
Don't do the
sandwich.
French dirty.
Oh, they do breakfast. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Every
It
place does
destroys
breakfast.
any-
Taco
Speaking
Bell
of
does
which,
breakfast.
they do breakfast now. Speaking of which, have you guys seen the Wendy's and McDonald's are now getting into a spicy chicken war or something? Like they're trying to
Yeah.
do this sandwich to like nobody's gonna be better than Popeyes, but that is
Popeyes. They mastered it.
Yeah.
Damn it! Now I'm craving that too.
Anyways, I have nothing. You guys have been to a lot of cool places. I haven't even like my passport hasn't even been stamped. Like I've been down on a cruise. Like it's been boring. I had something planned and was gonna hit up, England and Ireland, which is 2 of the places that I wanted to hit up before all this pandemic stuff occurred. But other than that, I did do a few years ago a Alaskan cruise, which was
Oh, that's right.
phenomenal, which
Yeah.
was so much fun. Flew into Seattle, spent a couple days in Seattle, or a day in Seattle, I guess, and then we went to Juneau, Tracy Arm Forge. I mean, we went to a lot, and then place in Canada I can't think of off the top of my head, but
Ottawa.
it was not Ottawa. No,
East Coast.
Shut the up. I'm sorry.
I mean,
that was mean.
That was mean, but he's correct. I can't think of it. It's I don't know. But anyways, that was awesome, beautiful. That's where I've seen snow from afar and actually playing snow. Able to do a lot of cool things. When we were in was it Skagway? We did an awesome trail. We canoed or kayaked up to a glacier, which is
That's
Nice.
awesome.
a mountain of ice. I've never even seen that. I mean, I've seen mountains, but I haven't seen a mountain of ice. And
Wait, so you haven't seen snow? You would have
I've
seen snow there, right?
I've seen it. That's what I've seen. I've seen it from afar, but I've not held snow. I have not walked in snow. I have not played in snow. I have not seen it snow.
You're like a 5-year-old. I haven't played in snow.
Well,
You want to
know
build
what
a
I do.
snowman?
Okay, but
Yeah.
if I see snow for the first time, first freaking thing I'm doing is put my giraffe ass body into snow.
Yeah.
Let's go drive up north.
Snow
and
angels.
Build ourselves an
No,
Olaf.
I do not want to do that. I like my shorts and sandals. No. Someday I'll go, but not right now, especially with the storms and everything happening. But that was really cool, and it was like the perfect. It was think of like a horror movie on a lake with fog that's like right over the lake top. It was foggy. It was a slight mist. It was cold, and we just kayaked up to that thing, and we were with like a tour guide. Me and a buddy that I went to, and there's a whole group that there were like 2 tour guides and a group of us that went, and we started off and we had to go a little bit of ways around, and we peel around in the the kayaks. We saw a nice waterfall coming down off the mountains, and all that was great. But then we got to the spot where the main tour guide was like, all right, we're just gonna chill here and see it from kind of a little bit further out. We don't want to put you guys in any harm's way. And then there was this other tour guide that kind of just did his own thing and wanted to just get a little bit nearer. So I'm in a 2-man kayak, one with my buddy Ron, and I don't know, I just kind of see him do that, so I start paddling that way. He's like, where are you going? And I was like, well, I'm following the tour guide. He's like, well, they're telling us to stay back there. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna follow him. He's going closer to it. That seems cool. I want to go more near that. So we ended up paddling near there, and we got pretty close. Not enough to like reach out and touch this gigantic thing of ice, but much closer than I thought we were gonna get, and it was really, really cool. And I think that was in Juneau.
See any whales?
Saw some whales, yeah. Saw some whales. Nothing like epic like coming out of the water and doing a backflip or anything fun like that. But
It's a great whale impression.
yeah,
Thank you. That'd be a fear of mine, being in a kayak, knowing that there's these giant whales below you. At a given point, it'll just come up and.
Dude, have you seen the video? There was a video that came out recently of like some person in a kayak where a whale like almost straight up swallowed the person.
Yeah.
I have to send you that. If you haven't seen it, it's crazy. And like luckily the person barely like tilted out of the whale's mouth before it like sucked it in.
I don't like being in places where I can't see below me, where I don't know what's below me. If I know there's hundreds of feet of abyss below me, nope.
What was cool?
Same way.
That doesn't really. I don't really care. What was cool is not only did I kayak, sure, kayak in there, but we kayaked in Seattle because the first Airbnb that we stayed in Seattle was a boat home on a lake in Seattle, and you were able to like check out the kayaks that were owned by the boat owner or whatnot. So we got a chance to kayak there, but coming back from the cruise, we stayed another night in Seattle, and one of the cool things that we did that I wanted to do in Alaska but didn't get a chance to was get to go on a seaplane, land and take off from water. That's freaking cool. That is one of the coolest things that I think. I mean, that's just boggles my mind that could happen, and it's crazy. And we got to just fly around Seattle and see everything. Saw like Bill Gates' home from above, the Space Needle, and all of that.
Oh, that's awesome!
It was cool, and it was well worth it. And it was weird. I was never. I'm not afraid of flying or water or heights or anything like that. But to take off and land on the water, I was never scared, but I was just like more at awe. I was like, holy crap, this is cool.
How was the landing? Was the landing rough or abrupt?
No. I mean, it's because this was in a lake, not an ocean, so it wasn't,
Right.
But it was, a bit, but it wasn't. It wasn't bad. It was just a boom, 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 and then you're done.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and then you're done.
Boom, 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 you're done.
And that's how Chris got 2 kids.
Yep.
What was
the boomers?
The boomers.
Fire.
What was when we were in Skag? There was 3 Alaskan places that we went to, and then 1 Canadian place, and I can't remember.
Saskatchewan.
No, I don't think so. But in the last in Skagway, we were supposed to. Me and my buddy Ron had a helicopter ride onto a glacier thing planned, which would have been cool, and I probably would have seen snow and all of that. But the morning of, the weather was not
Cohesive.
Was not playing nice, and that got canceled. So we were able, we had that, and then we had a rock climbing thing planned, and we were able to do that still. That wasn't canceled, but yeah, that's probably the coolest trip I've been on, definitely outside of my realm of the beach and Caribbean and all of that. But
man, y'all got cool stories. I do have an embarrassing one contributed to Italy, if you want to hear that.
Of course.
Kind of sad to admit, but I'll say for the Ngari men in the family, I have no problem and no shame in admitting that we were late bedwetters.
not what I thought you were gonna say.
Not at all.
And
I'm going to tell you the twist in this story. Okay.
Oh my God.
For some odd reason in our genes, we have late developing bladders. So like towards late, whatever.
How late we
I'm
talking
fine
about
now. I have no problem here. Okay. So
as of last week, I'm good.
as of last week, I'm perfectly fine. Now
For my birthday at McDonald's,
So in Italy, I actually almost got threatened to be sent back home early.
What?
By my teacher. You remember I went with my school.
Yeah.
So there was this ceremony that we had to stay up for, or that happened at like 3 a.m. or something, to where again the Catholics would walk through the streets to bless it, and it's like a big thing over there. And correct, and we were trying to stay up for that. Well, that night prior, we went to the clubs just to kind of get a feel for it. And we were drinking because over there's not really a drinking age. So I went to one of the clubs there, and you had 12, 13-year-olds like smoking cigarettes in like in a lounge. Yeah, it was
It's
really,
Italy,
really
so
weird.
yeah, it's like
Really weird to see. But again, I was drinking. You drinking at 14, 15 and whatnot. I try to just do my thing. Got a little too sloshy and passed out in one of the seniors' beds.
Oh, boy.
One of this, we didn't do anything, but like we were just hanging out in the room, and I didn't check in with my chaperone or whatnot, and the chaperone thought that I went missing, but I had just passed out in another person's room. So alarm went off at 3 a.m. just to go see this ceremony as they walk through the streets, and sure as shit, I'm like, oh, I looked over and saw the girl that I passed out in her bed.
oh my god.
And I was like, oh no. And then like I rolled over and I felt like wetness down my leg, and I'm like, oh
no.
fuck. I was like, this is going to just ruin my social life.
Not the good
High
kind of
school.
wet.
So yeah, not the good kind of wet.
Oh
So
my god.
we all wake up, and I was so embarrassed at the time. And luckily the girl, she was so kind about it. She was just like, oh my God, like I'll take care of this. And then I had like the teacher banging on the door and like wondering where I'm at. And she finally sees me, and then she threatens to send me home because she thought that I had sex with one of the seniors. And I'm like,
oh my
just
god.
passed out in here.
Dud.
Had to go and
Jeez.
go change.
I just passed out and peed in here. Leave me alone.
I have a thing for passing out and pissing for some odd reason. Like if I get too drunk, like, and I can have ex-girlfriends attest to this, but like if I get too drunk to where I can't wake up, yeah, like there's sometimes, yeah, it happens. Like it's a thing. You just get too passed out
You
and
can't
too
control your. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes
and
sense.
you gotta go, man.
Seal
Like
breaks. The seal breaks.
God. But yeah, that's a little fun story.
Wow.
I thought I was f***ed. I thought I was gonna get sent home real early, and that was probably like maybe 3 days into the trip. It's like a week-long trip.
I commend your bravery for telling that story. Knowing
I
it's
do
gonna be
too.
out in
That's-
the entire world.
Hey man, maybe next pod we'll have to do another embarrassing story time.
Embarrassing story time. I'm sure we all have them, but holy mackerel.
Wow.
That
In
is
a foreign country.
The what?
In a foreign country, too.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was not expecting you to go that route when you said you had a story to share.
I wasn't either, but like as you're telling yours, I'm like, man, you all got some good stories, and I was like, I actually have one for once.
Jeez Louise. I mean, Boyce's balls and you peeing and
Hey, it happened.
I mean, I kayak. That's about it.
Now I just think of it as a
Holy
drunk
mackerel.
achievement. Nothing about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. Holy mackerel. I don't even know where to necessarily go, and I don't think we'll cover the second topic today because that took up great topic by Mary. That
Yeah, I loved it.
that was a more and that's the thing about like the topics that we get and the topics that sometimes seem so vague and so simple, whether they're 2 words, 1 words, and all the ones we get. Thank you so much to everybody out there for sending them in. You can talk about the topic, but when you're conversing with friends, when you're conversing with people that can engage in good conversation and bring different points to it and bring different ideas to it, the conversation could go on for days and weeks and hours. And I mean, that's why we wanted to do this and take topics from what it is you all out there want to hear, because we're not going to single this podcast to one. Okay, we're going to talk just about sports or just about beer or just about
Bedwetting.
theater, bedwetting, whatever the topic may be.
It's a thing, man.
No, I believe it. Listen, I'm not here to judge. I got myself a nice stutter and a disability, and I don't know if that's considered that, but I mean, we all have those things, and yeah, I stutter. In case you didn't know.
No clue.
But yeah, But we all have those things, and that's what makes us us, and that's why the topics that we get from everybody, it's just this is us talking about them, and they always spawn different conversations. Who knew that the best trip you've ever been on and taken, people are saying, oh, I went to, Italy. I went to this. I did an awesome thing over here. I saved up my money and I went to this great theme park, or I did this. No, it's about enlarged balls, bedwetting, and never seeing snow. It's just like these weird things that come of it. So continue to send us in topics. Thank you all so much for supporting, liking. If you did not know, please go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, Laid Off Lads. It is in our link in our Instagram bio, and I believe you can access it through our Facebook page as well. But right now, that is where our pods are. We are still dealing with a issue with iTunes and trying to get onto their podcasting platform. It's been submitted, it's been approved, but we have the technical team looking as to why you can't search for it and why it's not available via that way. So as soon as we get that up, we'll share that. But head over to Instagram, Laid Off Lads, Facebook, Laid Off Lads. Phil put together an awesome website, www.laidofflads.com, that you can submit topics through there. I'll go to our email, which is laidofflads@gmail.com, and can't thank everybody enough out there for everything.
Cool.
Balls, you got anything?
Slow clap. Good job. Good pod.
The bedwetter, you got anything?
I fixed my issue, by the way. Thank you. It's been about 10 years. Appreciate it.
I love you guys.
That's it.
Hey, man.
21.
No, like I would say 14, 15.
You were what? Because you said you were
14,
in
15.
high school. Yeah, that's like you can't drive yet. You can't. Yeah, so that's all right. But you were young enough to see Pope John Paul II. We established that in this pod.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. But grandfather met him. Good Pope.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody
man.
out there. Talk to you and see you next time on Laid Off Lads.
Thanks for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. And if you're hiring, well, you know where to find us.